Sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do, and sometimes you got to get your hands dirty. And today, or tonight, I should say, I plan on getting my hands dirty. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. What's up, everybody, and welcome to our brand new episode of Talk the Real Deal with AT2. And yes, my name is AT2. How everybody doing? How everybody living? How everybody feeling? Thank you, Shawnee, for renewing your membership. What's up, Winnie? What's up, beautiful? I love seeing all my members here. What's up, Priscilla? Aaliyah TV. Who else we have here? We have Poetic Poems. We have Trissy. What's up, Trissy? What's up, Foreign Bay? Hello. I see everybody coming in the room now. Yeah, so we got a great show. So it's going to be a show mixed in with a whole bunch of different topics. So this is how we're going to play it for now. I wanted to do another live show, and I was like, what can I do? I was like, well, I can definitely go ahead and address the BS because there's a lot of BS going on. So I can definitely do that, mixed in with a few other things, you know? Happy 10 months, by the way. Thank you for being a member. What's up, Addicted? I see you too as well. Megan, Princess, hello. All right. So sometimes when people are psychotic and have schizophrenia, and when people are also on powder, drugs, and substances, they say and do stupid things all the time, right? So you just kind of have to leave those people where they are. Don't entertain them. Don't bother them. Just leave them where they at. The only thing that you should do is pray for them. You know, I was watching somebody talk about Tabitha Brown. Remember Tabitha Brown had prayed for Wendy Williams when she was talking about her husband? And then since then, Wendy's life has been in shambles. And all that lady did was pray for her. Now, I don't know if she did some witchcraft on the side, but I was thinking oh, I need to pray for these people. You know, the ones that come against me, I need to pray for them. And so that's what I want to do. Not that I'm saying that my prayer is going to bring evil or wickedness into their life, but yeah, just pray for them. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Keep my name relevant, keep me in the algorithm. They are doing themselves a disservice because nobody really cares about what they have to say, but it does help me in the long run because, hey, you're talking about me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Take things with stride, take things with pride, you know? There's a reason why they're talking about you because they have to. They're talking about you because you're doing something right. It's when they don't talk about you, that's when you have something to worry about. Right, Jazz? Purr. I love purr. Oh, y'all are crazy. I love it. Yeah. But yeah, when they're not talking about you, that's when you should be worried because you're irrelevant and nobody cares about what you have going on in your life. But when they are discussing you, then that's a good thing. And mind you, this isn't something that's provoked by, oh, you said this, you said that. Literally, this is just random. And of course, people will team up and they'll partner together. You know, two people that don't like you, but also don't like each other. You know, I think even one person scammed somebody out of $200 or something like that. I guess all is forgiven now, but hey, it is what it is. So for those of you who don't know, earlier we had talked about the government shutdown. At the time, they didn't vote on it yet to end the shutdown. it has finally passed to open up the government. And like I said from the beginning, I do feel a little conflicted. One of the reasons being because I know people who have not been paid and are still working or either furloughed. And so it does suck knowing that those people are suffering. So in a way, I am okay, the government's back open. However, Democrats did not get anything out the deal. Nothing. The only good thing that I can say is that they were able to get a vote on the Epstein files. Now, necessarily, this doesn't mean that the files are going to just be released. However, it's one step moving forward. And those Republicans that we were worried about changing their mind, no, they're not changing their mind. They're going to stick with it, and they voted to go ahead and have the files released. So I want to go ahead and play this. Hold on. Uh-oh. Why isn't it working? Okay, there we go. And it was confirmed, too, that Trump and them was trying to stop. They were trying to stop them from voting on this. So let's go ahead and get to it, y'all.
Aides have been waging an intense pressure campaign that ultimately backfired here on Capitol Hill tonight, where that petition to force a vote on the release of the Epstein files now has all of the votes that it needs. The 218th vote came courtesy of the newest member of the House, Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva, who was sworn in today, 50 days after winning her election. Speaker Mike Johnson said tonight that that bill will get its vote here on Capitol Hill next week.
It's a totally pointless exercise. It is completely moot now. We might as well just do it. I mean, they have 218 signatures. That's fine. I'll do it.
So the reason why they had to do a petition is because he, the Speaker of the House, wouldn't bring it to the floor.
The two members of Congress who have been leading the charge on this bill are my sources on the Hill tonight: Republican Congressman Thomas Massie and Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna. And thank you both for being here, obviously on a huge day for the two of you. I'll ask you, since he's the Republican House Speaker, he's calling it totally pointless exercise and completely moot. What do you make of his comments? Do you agree with those?
Well, the White House spent a lot of effort in the midst of a shutdown to stop a totally pointless exercise that's completely mute. And by the way, I got to give credit to Lauren Boebert to walk into the White House, the center of power, the free world, really, and to sustain that and to come back out and to be solid, and also to Nancy Mace and Marjorie Taylor Greene. There was all this speculation that they might take their names off, and they never did. So it's not a hoax. Victims, and there are survivors who have had a press conference with Ro Khanna and I, and that's what we're fighting for, justice for them.
Did y'all?
So I want to go ahead and mention something, because now the narrative is being spun that, oh, Trump's been exonerated. You know, the victim said he wasn't there. They have no recollection of him doing anything or being there, blah, blah, blah. Mind you, they just talked to about 20 different victims. If there's supposed to be over 1,000 victims, how possibly they've already talked to those thousands of people? Remember, they said there's over 1,000 victims, right? So you talked to every victim and they all told you he wasn't there, even though in all the emails he's been mentioned. In all the emails, they have been mentioning Trump. But somehow, magically, he had nothing to do with it. He wasn't there. Come on now. And then why didn't they want him to bring the vote? Talking about Thomas Massie, why didn't they want him to bring the vote? Why they were trying to stop him? If you have nothing to worry about, why are you trying to stop people?
Talk to them at any point during this, as the White House was making clear they were targeting these members?
I talked to them. I don't want to say which one I had this conversation with, but one of them was told, we can't let Massie have a win. How petty is that? I mean, this is more than about political wins. It's about getting transparency and justice, which, by the way, this administration promised. You have the vice president, J.D. Vance, you have the AG, you have the FBI director. They've all done a 180 on this.
So the White House said to one of these members that they didn't want you to have a win here.
That's correct.
I mean, what does that say to you, Congressman Ro Khanna, as to the White House's motivation here? I mean, I think so many people look at this and say, why is the White House fighting this as hard as they are, and taking Lauren Boebert into the Situation Room, which is incredibly unusual based on my experience covering the White House.
They've really lost their way because it was really Donald Trump, and more than Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, who in podcast after podcast said, release the Epstein files. And I give credit, of course, to the courage of Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Mace, and Lauren Boebert. They met with the survivors. It was personal. But I also give credit to Congressman Thomas Massie. I mean, he's got 3 billionaires literally pouring millions of dollars in his race against him to take him out simply because he wants these files released, which the president campaigned on. You know what? The left and right are agreeing on one thing. It's time to get rid of the Epstein class, these rich and powerful people who rig the rules for themselves and ignore forgotten Americans.
Right. Take them all down. And that's the thing, too, because there's been this conversation about like, oh, it's Democrat versus Republican. As far as I'm concerned, if there's any Democrat, Republican, Independent, or any of these billionaires on that list, take them all down. They all need to go to jail. Why are we playing games with that? Put them all to jail. But again, the man in the White House is trying to stop it. He's calling it a hoax. How was it a hoax when there was somebody who went to jail? Well, actually, 2 people. Jeffrey Epstein was in jail, but he was unalive during the Trump administration in 2019. And then we also have Ghislaine Maxwell, who's serving time, and she was convicted with her nasty ass. So 2 people were, 2 people were charged. One was actually convicted. The other one, quote unquote, unalived himself. So again, it's not a hoax. It really happened. And there was over 1,000 victims. So, make it make sense. And the way that it's also working too, I want to clarify, because it's all like, okay, well, you guys have emails. Why are you trying to get more? Why don't you just release those emails? Well, the thing is that the DOJ, those are like the documents and stuff that they're trying to get. What they got is from Epstein's estate. So whatever the estate had, that's what was sent to them. So that's what they have. And like I said in that clip earlier, Jasmine Crockett said, oh, we have a lot more emails. Those are just some that we have. We just released those 3. I wouldn't be surprised if there's audio and video. I definitely think, because don't forget that Michael Wolff guy, the guy who was writing the book of Jeffrey Epstein, he has all the conversations recorded. So yeah, there's a conversation. Lisa Phillips, the first Black woman groomed by Epstein, has come out and is telling her story. Oh, really? I haven't heard it. Where did she do an interview? Yeah, Michael Wolff. And here's the thing too. There's been stuff said about Michael Wolff as far as like how legit he is as a journalist. But at the end of the day, if he has conversations recorded, you can't dispute that. If there's recordings and evidence, it doesn't matter how shitty of a person he is. And mind you, Michael Wolff was the same journalist that Trump let shadow him for a year while he was in the White House. And that's when he wrote that book, Under Siege or whatever. Was that? No, Fire and Fury. That's the one. So this guy who you can't trust and who's dirty, you let him shadow you for a whole year, your administration for a whole year. See how that doesn't make any sense? Oh, wow. Well, past the joint, I do want to say this. They're claiming that Virginia said she never had any dealings with Trump. That's what they're claiming. Now, do I believe that Trump probably has, conversation with people and probably told them like, hey, you don't say this and I'll, definitely so. Kash Patel and Bonzi are going to do their utmost to muddy the waters. Yep, I do agree with that. Yep. And we've already seen Trump get away with worse. The Republicans will not hold him accountable for anything. They won't. That's why I'm all like, I don't see why he just won't release it. Even if it said Trump was having freak offs at the Epstein Island, they wouldn't care. Like I said, they're not good people. They would not give a damn. It'll be another day in the office. But literally, I still don't understand how Trump is not just held accountable. Like, take the assumption that Trump was engaging in acts with the girls, right? Take that out. The fact that they were literally getting girls from Mar-a-Lago where they work and, soliciting them and having them be a part of the trafficking and stuff like that. Shouldn't he be held accountable for that? At least that part. He helped facilitate in the trafficking. You telling me that he's not going to go to, or at least be questioned? And hell, maybe that's why Jeffrey Epstein, was unalived, because they didn't want that to come out, that Trump was going to have to testify and he was going to be asked some questions. Remember Comey, not James Comey, but his daughter. His daughter was fired, the one that was working on the Diddy trial and stuff like that. A lot of people were all like, oh, it's because she fumbled the Diddy trial. No, it's because she was connected to, the Epstein. That's she was the one that convicted him. So that's why they got rid of her. Yes, Kimberly, you're right. Yep. Epstein would have sold all of them out. Yep. And Ronnie, what you say? Because Trump's own attorney helped one girl drop charges. Yes. And don't forget, the assistant attorney general was the one that went to get Ghislaine and did that whole interview with her and asked her like, oh, was Trump there or whatever? And she was like, oh, no, Mr. Trump was not there, blah, blah, blah. But come to find out, that was the email, one of the emails. Hold on. Do I got the email still here? Hold on. Was it this one? Oh, yeah. It said victim Mar-a-Lago. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course, but he knew. I'm sorry. Of course, he knew about the girls. He asked Ghislaine to stop. So he had full knowledge. This confirms it right here. He had full knowledge. Now, there's a couple of more emails that I've seen, and I need to verify if they're true or not. But there's another email that I've seen, you guys, and it claimed that Bill Clinton was not, he was not at the island. Because remember before Trump got into office, everybody was all like, yeah, Bill Clinton, get Bill Clinton, right? And I'm not saying Bill Clinton is absolved. However, there's an email that Epstein sent to somebody, and it said, you okay? These stories are complete and utterly utter fantasy. I don't know, and I have met Al Gore, Clinton as never on the island. He said, I have never met Al Gore. Clinton was never on the island. The phone book is not mine. It was stolen by the houseman that is currently in prison for doing so. Again, I need to verify if that is true or not. But it's very interesting that the only emails that the committee released today were those 3 emails that all were in reference to Trump. Some ain't right. What's up, Clorinda? Right. All of a sudden now. Okay, let me see if they said anything else.
So
I'm
how
gonna
many
watch a little bit of it.
Republicans do you think are going to vote for this next week when Speaker Johnson brings it to a vote?
I think there's going to be a deluge of Republicans. The longer this goes on, the more support we gain. And I think the speaker recognized that. And that's why, after months of trying to stop us, he's decided to accelerate the vote because he knows we're going to get votes. And that's going to carry momentum into the Senate. And that's why it's important to get a big vote in the House for Roe and I on this measure, is because that's where it goes next, is the Senate.
Yeah, so what happens here when it goes, if it passes and it does have that deluge of Republicans? I know you said today you thought 40 to 50 could potentially vote for it. Is that right?
Well, I think the speaker's concluded if you can't stop the parade, you might as well lead it. And so now he's saying, I want to have the vote. I do think that you could get 30, 40, 50 Republicans voting for it, because what are we talking about? We're talking about rich and powerful men who abused young girls and told people in junior high to go recruit others to be raped or abused. That's what we're talking about. And we're saying that these victims want to expose the men who did this to them. Some of these men still have buildings named after them. Some of them still have scholarships named after them. Enough. And so I think when it's actually a vote on the House floor, do you want these files released? Republicans and Democrats are going to vote yes.
So what does it say if that happens and there are that many people who are in the House who vote for it and the Senate doesn't take it up?
Well, we used a discharge petition. This is a parliamentary procedure that's only available in the House. It's only been successful maybe 20 times in the history of our country. Like, we had a 4% probability, if you look at statistics, of getting this to the floor, but we succeeded. In the Senate, They don't have a discharge petition, but they do have other ways. Each senator is almost like their own rules committee over there. And by being dilatory or accelerating the process for other senators, they can cajole them into getting votes. And I think we could see a vote on this in the Senate.
Why do you think the president keeps?
The crazy part is still, I go back to, why would you not release it? Why would you not? Why would you vote against it? What do you like? Because my thing is, like, what do you have to lose? You don't have anything to lose. Like, okay, let's go ahead and open it. Let's expose it. Like, why would you stop that?
Calling it a hoax, as he did again today. And he basically said no real Republicans, no good Republicans that aren't stupid or bad would fall for this trap.
It's sad to me because I actually didn't do this to score points against Donald Trump. I know Representative Massey didn't do it for that reason. We did it because we heard the stories of these survivors and we want justice for them. They're going to be out in front of the Capitol again on Tuesday. They were out about 2 months ago. And my guess is they're going to say the same thing. Mr. President, please meet with us. Listen to us. You can actually release these files. And I rather Donald Trump do the right thing, even if he gets a political win, than for us to go on ignoring women who have been abandoned before Trump's presidency. These women have not had justice for decades.
So you're saying it's bigger than Donald Trump?
It's much bigger than Donald Trump.
Because the White House is saying this is something Democrats didn't talk about when Joe Biden was in office, which we've asked you about before, and said that that's the whole motivating factor here. But you say that that's not the case for you either?
No, and I think Roe can go back and find examples where he talked about these files. I can go back in my social media and show you examples where I talked about these files needing to be released before President Trump was the president. And I don't think it's about Trump. I looked at
also,
those.
So did President Trump, for the record.
Yes,
talked
he
about
did, for the
need
record.
files
And
to be
JD
released.
Vance.
Yeah, members of the cabinet.
I looked at those emails there, and I don't think that implicates Trump any more than he's already been implicated. And I don't think he's trying to protect himself per se. I think he's beyond embarrassment. Look, I was in an oversight committee when we were arguing.
So if he's not trying to protect himself, who the fuck is he trying to protect? Listen, I'm not going to fight so hard for other people. And let's be honest, when the last time has Trump ever tried to fight hard for anybody but himself? Everything is self-serving. Like, when has he ever been like, oh, wait, I need to try to fight for my friends or fight for this person or fight for that person? Are you effing kidding me? That got to be a effing joke.
Should he have paid the prostitute he had an affair with through campaign funds, or should he have used his personal funds? He's beyond embarrassment. That's what these files could present to him. I think there are people who are criminally implicated that aren't Donald Trump, but they may be his friends. And I think that's who he's trying to protect.
So you think he's just trying to cover up for other people?
For other people, and also probably for our own intelligence agencies.
But when you read that email from the 2011 email that Jeffrey Epstein wrote to Ghislaine Maxwell, who is obviously serving her sentence right now, and he says that Trump is the dog that hasn't barked, I wonder what you read into that.
I think he's probably saying that why haven't they asked Trump anything? Why hasn't Trump spoken? But, you know, the reason this cuts right at Trump's message is people knew he wasn't perfect when they elected him. People knew he had a lot of things in his past, but he promised, he said, look, I may not be perfect, but I'm going to take on the corrupt elite. I'm going to take on these people who just pay off politicians and have impunity and are shafting you. And now he's become part of Washington, and people are like, what happened to him? Why has he become part of the swamp that he said he would drain?
You know, I always find that funny how they say, like, Trump, remember his first term, they say he was going to drain the swamp and, like, he's an outsider and all this other stuff. Well, he had power and he had influence. He was not an outsider. He's inside, like, everything, the Illuminati, the elitists, the billionaires, the oligarchs, the what other terms do y'all use? Not the bourgeoisie, that's black people. But all those super elitist groups of Illuminati devil worshippers, Trump was a part of that. So how did you ever think that he was not that? Like, y'all acting like he grew up in the trenches. He grew up with a golden spoon, not a silver spoon, a golden spoon. How did you ever think that he was not the swamp? I actually seen somebody like try to explain like how he wasn't the reason why he quote unquote was not a part of the swamp was because he was not a politician. Even though he was heavily involved in politics and he was heavily involved in trying to influence things, he was also heavily involved in donating to different campaigns and different people. So how was he not involved? We in New York have known for decades what a corrupt lowlife Trump is, right? You know? He's always wanted to make sure that he took care of himself. He was always seen larger than life. This was the whole presidency, everything was just another notch on his belt. Like, oh, look, see what I did? I beat all the odds. I became president when they said I couldn't do it. This is this shit is like fun to him in a weird way. Well, let me say, the first term, that was just fun. But the reason why he wanted to get back in the White House is because, you know, they were trying to put his ass in jail. You know, right? That's why he wanted to go, that's why he wanted to run again and shit like that. This is why he just said stupid shit. Like, I didn't talk about it, you guys, but he did with Laura Ingraham. I haven't even watched it. I just seen the clips or whatever on Fox News. Let me see. Is it on here? Yeah, it's here. That's him showing her the ballroom. Oh, you know what? I know the interview is full of lies and bullshit. I'm not gonna even waste y'all time with that shit. I'm not even gonna do that. This I will though. I want to see. I didn't see him sign it or whatever. I want to see this.
Toward American taxpayers for hundreds of billions of dollars for illegal aliens and people that came into our country illegally from gangs, from prisons, from mental institutions. They wanted to pay them $1.5 trillion, which would have really hurt our healthcare businesses and our recipients at levels never seen before. Today, we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was. They tried to extort, the Democrats tried to extort our country. In just a moment, I'll sign a bill exactly like we asked Democrats to send us all along, many days ago. This cost the country $1.5 trillion, this little excursion that they took us on. Republicans never wanted a shutdown and voted 15 times for a clean continuation of funding. There's never been a time when one or the other party ever didn't sign a continuation. It's just a continuation, not a big deal. It's a continuation, and we'll talk later. Yet the extremists in the other party insisted on creating the longest government shutdown in American history, and they did it purely for political reasons. I want to thank Speaker Mike Johnson.
Mind you, we can end up in this situation again. SNAP is, of course, funded until for 1 year, but as far as the government being open, it's only funded until the 30th of January. So we could still be in this whole predicament again. So it's technically not over. It's over for now, but not for the long term.
Majority Leader John Thune, as well as House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, Majority Whip Tom Emmer, and numerous other great Republican leaders and congressmen and senators who are here and frankly spent a long time in Washington getting this thing to go away. I also want to thank the broad coalition of Americans that stood with us in this fight to reopen.
Hold on, because he said that and I didn't catch it, but I caught your comment. There was never anything about giving funding to illegals at all. There was never nothing. They weren't trying to do that. Okay, let's continue.
Government, including the Teamsters, the American Federation of Government Employees, the Fraternal Order of Police, AMVETS, the National Small Business Association, the American Farm Bureau, the American Trucking Association. These are all incredible patriots. The Airlines for America, the Allied Pilots Association, the National Air Traffic Controllers Association, and many others, unions and non-unions. Over the past 7 weeks, the Democrats' shutdown has inflicted massive harm. They caused 20,000 flights to be canceled or delayed. They departed so many times, so late. People were hurt so badly. Nobody's ever seen anything like this one. This was a no-brainer. This was an easy extension, but they didn't want to.
Notice how he doesn't even sound sorry. Like there's no empathy for, people who have not been paid, not had government assistance. Like he really honestly doesn't care. Like it's not like, oh, you know how like when you feel bad about something, like you can hear it in their voice. You don't hear it in his voice at all.
Do it the easy way. They had to do it the hard way. And they look very bad, the Democrats do. They deprived more than 1 million government workers from their paychecks and cut off food stamp benefits for millions and millions more Americans in need. They caused tens of thousands of federal contractors and small businesses to go unpaid. And the total effect of the damage their antics caused will take weeks and probably months to really calculate accurately, including the serious harm that they did to our economy and to people and to families. So I just want to tell the American people, you should not forget this. When we come up to midterms and other things, don't forget what they've done to our country. I also want to call for a termination to the filibuster so that this can never happen again. If we had the filibuster terminated, this would never happen again. And don't forget, we have another date coming up in the not too distant future. We can never let this happen again. And we should be able to pass really great legislation. So I say terminate the filibuster because, by the way, the Democrats will do it immediately if they ever assumed office, which hopefully they won't. Today, we had the highest stock market price ever in all of the different markets. We set a record.
I think any tax return you expecting to get, just expect it to be late. I guarantee everything's gonna be late next year.
The 48th time in the 9 months that I've been in office that we had this record set. So think of that, 48 times we had a record set, but today is the highest of them all. We're gonna break new grounds. Nobody would have thought. I have with us not only the great political leaders, but the great business leaders of our country. They're standing right behind me and right really alongside of me. And if we would have told them a year ago that we'd be having stock prices this high, none of them, in fact, I just asked them that question, none of them would have believed it. And that inures to jobs and very importantly to 401ks, which have also set a record today, a record high for the people that have 401ks. And also, I want to thank Walmart because they came up with a fantastic study. It was the cost of Thanksgiving coming up and the cost of Thanksgiving from a year ago under Sleepy Joe Biden. And we're 25% lower this year than we were a year ago.
So he's talking about the Walmart meals. I guess Walmart does like a meal or something like that for Thanksgiving. So what they did was they took out there's 6 lesser items, and then instead of more name brand stuff, they replaced it with the Walmart brand, the Great Value brand instead. And that's why it's cheaper. It's not cheaper because prices or inflation went down. That's a lie.
And it's a very inclusive report. So I want to thank Walmart. They've done it for many years, but we believe in that. We believe in that company. I want to also thank the 8 Senate Democrats who finally did the right thing in voting to end this craziness, this madness. But unfortunately, the vast majority of congressional Democrats were happy for millions of Americans to suffer. They really did suffer too. And the Democrats admitted, they said, well, no, we finally have a point. Even though people have to suffer, we finally have a point. And that didn't work out too well for them. But they really went out and they could appease the fringe benefits of their far left base. But that didn't work out because now their far left base is angrier than ever before. We actually elected a mayor of New York City who happens to be a communist. When was that going to happen? Remember, I said all the time during my campaign, we will never be a socialist country. And that's right. We turned out to have a communist in New York City. And if you look at his views, those are the views of a communist, not a socialist. So this is
right. So, of course, he's saying that the Democrats made everyone suffer and all this other shit, right? And this is the thing about the caving, because they caved. This now I believe that, okay, let me say this because I need to be careful when I say this. So Republicans, we know they're shitty. We know they don't care about the average day person, right? However, Democrats gave them this win. They thought, oh, because we won on Tuesday, we'll be fine. And here's what the Democrats is thinking. They're thinking like, okay, the people who deflected, talking about the senators. And then also today there were 6 Congress people in the House that flipped. What they're thinking is like, okay, well, it's going to be so shitty that everybody is going to then in turn vote for us. I think it's going to have the adverse effect where it's going to get so shitty that more people are going to lose faith in our government and in our political system and not want to vote. I think more of the latter than, people are going to be excited to go out and vote or be so angry that they vote in Democrat. I don't think it's going to work in their favor like that. That's what they're thinking. Oh, okay. Okay, do the right thing. Agree with me. Okay. Sabby, agree with me. Okay, let me do a poll. Do you guys agree with my statement that more people are going to be pissed off and turned off by our political system than wanting to go out and vote? Yeah. It's not what they think going to happen is not going to happen. Like, no. The only thing I can think of, if we have, and Lord forbid, hopefully we don't. And I know this might be triggering for Blessing. Blessing, don't be mad at me. The only way I think that would work, that people get so pissed off that they vote the Republicans out, if we go through another COVID. That's the only way. If we go through another government panorama, we go through another panorama, I think, yeah. And right, Blessing, yeah. I'm not telling you guys, so you guys know I'm gonna be on here telling y'all to vote. But for me, I'm just being a realist, you know? I'm being a realist about it. But yes, I still want you guys to go out to vote. But you know, I'm just going to keep it real. People are going to be so turned off that they're not going to want to vote. Measles are on the rise. It's possible. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, Priscilla said measles too. See, Shawnee thinks it. Yeah. We need more progressives to step up. I agree. And I'm gonna say something though, Susie Q. We need progressives who are not anti-Black. We need progressives who say, oh, let's not worry about race. Let's only worry about the working class. Because we all know when they say, let's only focus on the working class, they are only talking about white people. Did I say something wrong? Hello? Did I say something wrong? You know. But yeah, let's make sure they mean all people. Let's make sure they mean that. And excuse me, let me clarify. Progressive, like I consider myself a progressive, but the progressives kind of identify themselves as those like leftist extremists, like, and I let me not say leftist extremists, but the leftists with the purity tests and stuff like that. They got so many damn purity tests, but yet them leftists want to vote with that guy with the Nazi tattoo. Them leftists just don't like Black people. Can we keep it real? Them leftists just don't like Black people. They all under this facade that Bernie Sanders was going to win in 2016 and he was going to be the greatest president in the world. They are still salty over Bernie Sanders. I'm sorry. Y'all need to let that shit go. Let it go. Y'all gotta let that Bernie Sanders shit go. Like, that's what we need. Like, we need a town hall where we just stop that whole Bernie should have won and he was gonna win and he was gonna do this. And like, we gotta stop it. We really gotta stop it. We gotta get over it. There's been so many people that would have been a great candidate and they should have, been president. But I just think, like, for example, I know about Jesse Jackson, but I really didn't understand. Like, did y'all know, like, Jesse Jackson actually came in second for the Democratic ticket? Like, he really had, like, a run. Like, I thought it was kind of like, I hate to compare, but you know how Shirley Chisholm, she ran for president, right? And it was more like symbolic. But like Jesse Jackson, actually, you know, he was that Rainbow Coalition and everything like that. Like it was real. Like now, kind of learning more about that, I'm seeing how Barack Obama came into play. You know, I don't think there would have been a Barack Obama without Jesse Jackson. Keep hope alive, right? And you know, and hopefully we get back to that Rainbow Coalition. Hopefully we get back to that. Because I don't feel that we all get along and we're all on the same page. Yeah, I don't feel like all the colors, I don't feel like we're on the same page. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff, you know. Jesse Jackson got into some shit, you know. But let me say this: if Jesse Jackson ran today and he was white, you know who he would have been? This guy right here. Because Jesse Jackson would have been Trump. Oh, somebody said Colin Powell. Jesse Jackson, if he ran today, he would have been Trump. They wouldn't have cared about none of that. Well, I will say this too. I don't think Jesse Jackson. I said if Jesse Jackson was white, but because he was black, no, he wasn't gonna get away with none of that. He had to be perfect. He had to be perfect. But this one right here, 3 baby mamas, multiple marriages, cheating on his wife. Yeah, all that. Ma'am Donnie is the wave of the future. You know, I've given you guys my opinion, but I've never really dived into it. So a couple of things. Do I think that Mamdani's win was historic and all the things? Yes, I do. However, what works in New York is not going to work everywhere. I believe in Mamdani was running in the middle of the country. Okay, let's break it down. Him just running in New York, they kept on calling him a jihadist terrorist. Just imagine you trying to sell Mamdani to, you know, Oklahoma, Missouri, you know, all those Midwestern, Southern, yeah. That would be a hard thing. That would be a hard sell right there. Tub should be the way. No. But yeah, that would be a hard sell. You know, I think when it comes to, you know, even in New York, they were calling him that. Just imagine in the middle of the country how they would. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And, you know, and mind you, the people that be calling him all those names, jihad, all that, all those people that be calling him that are the same person that turn around and be like, why do we talk about identity? Get identity politics out of there. But they would remind you every day, he's a jihadist, he's this, he's that. Every day they are trying to call Mamdani a terrorist or relate him to terrorism. That's the most racist shit ever. And the fact that people are getting away with saying shit like that is crazy to me. But as far as rent control and all the things that he wants to do, I don't see a problem with it. We'll see how we do when he gets sworn in, you know? And I think people talk about, oh, he's a communist, he's this and that. Those are just words that they throw out there. It really doesn't mean anything. Him being a democratic socialist is not the same thing as being a communist and stuff like that. When they think of communism, they want you to think of like Venezuela, Russia. They want you to think of those kind of places, and it don't have the same effect like it used to anymore. The rent was too high party. I remember that. What was his name, y'all? The one that said the rent is too damn high. I mean, he was on to something. Wasn't he in New York too? Or was he in Chicago? Oh, Veronica, because let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I don't see the same people criticizing Gavin Newsom the same way they criticize Kamala Harris. I don't see them doing it in the same way. That's very interesting to me. That's very, white to me, very vanilla. It's interesting. Because it seems like, just like the other day on the All the Smoke podcast, when he was all like, yeah, when they say woke, they're saying they really mean like anti-black. Well, isn't that the same thing that like Jasmine Crockett has been saying? Like a lot of the stuff that he's been saying is very Jasmine Crockett-ish. But she get called ghetto and everything else. I wonder why. Red Scare. What's a Red Scare? Newsom is full of shit. Mm-hmm. Oh, Scar. You meant Scar. Who has a red scar? Let's talk about the actual real terrorists of the lighter complexion, Proud Boys, KKK, the Trump. Look, ding, ding, ding. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just all repeats itself. Yeah, it literally just repeats itself. It goes in a cycle. Oh, on his hand. Oh. Yeah, listen. I don't want to wish nothing. I'm not wishing nothing on nobody, right? I'm not wishing nothing on nobody. But what I will say is, I think JD Vance already has his plan for succession. And I'm not thinking the 2028 election. I think he already has a plan in motion before we get to 2028. Again, I think JD Vance has a plan in motion to be president before 2028. Red Scar was okay. Thank you, Learn to Love Myself. Thank you for breaking it down. Yeah. Okay, I do know what you guys are talking about. Okay. I forgot we were still relating to the whole communist thing. Thank you, AT2. I've been saying, yeah. Mm-hmm. Because remember, it was Peter Thiel and what's the funny looking dude? Elon Musk. Peter Thiel and Elon Musk was pressuring Trump to pick JD Vance. Pressuring Trump to pick JD Vance. You can't tell me that wasn't by design of like, okay, we got somebody in here that we can puppeteer and master and get them to do whatever we want them to do. Oh, yeah. Him not sticking up for his wife, he's bitch made. How dare you not stick up for your wife? Oh yeah, that's the other thing. He gonna divorce Usha and then end up with Erica Kirk. We already see that coming. Yes, he was one of the authors. Yep, he was a never Trumper. He even called Trump Hitler. Yeah, oh yes. He called him Hitler. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's coming. If they don't Democrats don't end up winning in 2026, yeah, they definitely going to finish out the rest of Project 2025. I don't think he wrote 95% of it. I know he was a part of it. What about Agenda 2030? I haven't heard that one. Let me try to look that up real quick. Okay, I said corrected. It said JD Vance did not help write Project 2025's main policy document, but he is significant ties to the people that he ties to the people in the think tank behind it, including writing book forward. Okay, he wrote the forward to Project 2025. Okay, that's what it was. Still, he's connected to that whole Heritage Fund, so yeah, he's a part of it. But he did not write it. He wrote the forward to it. He didn't have anything to do with the document. The smell. Yeah, I bet he is funky. You know, they said that he wears a diaper, right? They say he wears a diaper and a catheter. He has my couch on a date. Yeah. And you know what the funny part is? He never came out and said like he doesn't hump on couches. That would be like an easy rumor just to like shut down. The fact that he has never answered that is quite crazy. All right, so I wanted to go ahead and bring this up because he kind of mentioned it about the 8 senators. Do I got the picture? Do I got the picture? Do I got the picture? Yes, I do. All right. So for those of you who didn't know, just like the Democrats did not get any of the ACA credits, they got a promise of a vote, which was bullshit. Well, there was also a provision in that CR related to their phone records and being quote unquote spied on. And so basically, with a settlement of $500K for these senators that were connected to January 6th. So these are the senators right here: Tommy Tuberville, Dan Sullivan, Cynthia Lummis, Ron Johnson, Josh Hawley, Bill Haggerty. I think that's how you say it. Oh, Lady G, aka Lady Lindsey Graham, Marsha Blackburn. Oh, of course, Lady G was on there. I'm surprised I don't see Tim Scott. So they wrote $500K for each other in that provision. But legally, they could have been spied on. Like they could get their phone records. They're trying to say it was illegal, but it was not illegal. Clorinda, you're in Missouri? Yeah, but these are the senators. And so now we think about it. Okay, so did the Democrats know that these senators wrote in a provision to each get 500K? And y'all voted on that? That's crazy. Now I know Mike Johnson and there's been other whatchamacallit, other people in the Republican Party actually mad about this, but y'all not mad enough for me. No, I don't believe y'all were actually mad. I feel like y'all was like, damn, I should have put something in there for me. That's how I really feel.
No way to run a country. I hope we can all agree that the government should never be shut down again, end the filibuster, terminate the filibuster. It'll never happen again. So with my signature, the federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again for all Americans. Again, costs are way down. Energy is way down. Gasoline is at $2.50 a gallon versus $4.70 for the Democrats. And we think we're going to hit pretty close to $2 a gallon. That's like a really massive tax cut. It's the equivalent of that. And speaking of tax cuts, our great big...
No, lowering gas is not a tax cut. What the hell is he talking about? And gas is not cheap. Like, what is he talking about?
Beautiful bill is giving everybody in our economy, middle income workers, low income, everybody, the biggest tax cut in the history of our country. And it's no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and very importantly, no tax on overtime. You work overtime, there's no tax. That's among the things that add up to the biggest tax cut in history. And one other thing, you hear about rich people with deductions. Well, when you buy your car and you borrow money, you're allowed to now deduct the interest on that loan. So you can take that interest deduction and what you can take is that interest payment and deduct it for income tax purposes. That's a tremendous tax cut right there. But it all includes fixing the healthcare system the Democrats broke with the disaster known as Obamacare. Obamacare was a disaster from day one. It's done nothing but go up. And if you remember President Barack Hussein Obama, when he came up with this crazy idea, he said, everything's going to be great. Rates are going to go down. Payments are going to go down. Everything's going to go down. It went the exact opposite with the biggest increase of healthcare in any country. It's a disaster. And
so again, please don't forget that they don't have a plan to change or to come up with a different healthcare plan. They don't have any plan at all. Remember on stage during that debate with Kamala Harris, he said they had concepts of a plan. They don't even have concepts of a plan. They have no plan at all. None. And now hospitals are going to shut down, premiums are going to go up, and we're all going to be fucked. That's the best way I can put it. And regarding the big, beautiful bill, we won't really know the effects of that until later, as far as like the tax cuts and stuff like that. There is supposed to be tax cuts for people who make between 30 to 80K, right? However, if you live in a state that has high taxes, more than likely you won't see any big adjustment or anything like that. The people that will benefit is the rich. And the people that will really suffer is the poor. That's how it's going to turn out. All right, let's continue.
Calling today for insurance companies not to be paid, but for the money, this massive amount of money, to be paid directly to the people of our country so that they can buy their own health care, which will be far better and far less expensive than the disaster known as Obamacare. And I've had, I think, great support. I've even had Democrat support. So we want the money that would be going to the insurance company, which is hundreds of billions of dollars. Their stock prices have gone up by 1,000% in many cases, 1,000% over a short period of time. because our country stupidly pays them so much money with this Obamacare scandal. So I want the money to go directly to you, the people. And you go out and you'll buy your own health insurance and you'll negotiate different plans and you'll get much better insurance and you will be an entrepreneur for yourself. So I'm always willing.
Wait, so what I'm understanding is that he's going to give us money to shop around for a health care plan. I don't even know how that works. I mean, because you can already shop around for your own health care plan, but he's saying he's going to give us money to do that? And where is this money going to come from? And thank you. I appreciate that, Leah. Thank you. Thank you. Trump is bigly lying. Yeah, bigly lying again. The time for this time from his ballroom. Exactly. Lies.
To work with anyone, including the other party. We'll work on something having to do with healthcare. We can do a lot better. We can do great. So much money is involved, and we're willing to pay so much money to the people. So we're going to pay a lot of money to the people. They're going to go out and buy their own healthcare, and we're going to forget this Obamacare madness. So with all of that, I just want to tell you the country has never been in better shape. We went through this short-term disaster with the Democrats because they thought it would be good politically. And it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again.
Hold on. So now that he's talking about his plan for healthcare, basically he's letting us know that, yeah, they're not going to sign that continuum. Well, not the continuum, but, you know, they're not going to vote for those credits for the ACA because he wants to get rid of Obamacare. So he's not going to give those credits. So basically, we're screwed. Yeah, we're screwed. They gave in and we get nothing. I mean, we already knew this, right? But now he's talking about he's going to give us money to then so we can get our own health care and then. But we already do that. We already, like, you know, like you guys were saying, with because I have Obamacare or the Affordable Care or whatever you want to call it. Like, you already shop around for like the best medical in your own. Like, what? But how much money are you going to give us? The only real alternative, because I don't understand what the fuck he's talking about, the only real alternative for Obamacare would be Medicare for all. For a free healthcare. That's the only other alternative. Us doing him giving us money to then shop around for our own health, that don't even make any sense. That's what we already do. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Medicare for all would be the only alternative from Obamacare. The medical industry is going to collapse. Yeah. How long he thinks 2000 is going to last? It's not going to last at all. What's up, Lady Latif? Do you have a new account? Is that a troll account, you guys? Can somebody check for me? Is that a troll account? Hold on, let me check real quick. That might be a troll account. Hold on, let me mute myself. Hold on, hold on, fake Lady Letitia. We got to get you up out of here. Hold on. Okay, it has Lady Letitia videos on there. I don't know, y'all. Keep an eye on that page. But if y'all feel like, should I block this hoe? I don't even think this is the real Lady Letitia. Should I block whoever this is, this troll? Let me know. 30-second countdown. Should I block this hoe? Yo, y'all crack me up. Okay, so it is her. Okay. Well, why aren't you logged in under a second page? Shit, why are you acting brand new? Damn it. Okay. All right, Lady Letitia. I don't know why you logged in under the second page, but okay. Yeah, that scared me. I honestly, so I thought that was y'all know who I thought it was. I was like, get that motherfucker, you know. I was ready to flash. I was gonna go off. It was 3 people on my list who I thought that was. I was getting ready, yeah. Yeah, I apologize, Lady. No, I would never call Lady Letitia a hoe or anything like that. I love Lady Letitia. No, yeah, Lady Letitia knows all love, but I promise you, I thought that was, yeah, I was getting ready to, listen, this show was about to go a whole nother way. This show was about to go a whole nother way. Okay, I'm glad that's the real you, Lady Letitia. Yeah. Shit, dude, listen, we already did a show. It was about to be a real show in a minute. Yeah. Okay, does anybody else got a second account that I need to know? You know, speak now or forever hold your peace. Anybody else got a second account so I know that it's y'all? No, you're not interrupting anything, Lady Letitia. No. This is towards the end of the show anyway. Okay, Prissy, you got one? Okay. We'll wait. Hey, we'll know for next time. Okay. No. Princess, I do. Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Because you know how it is, like the trolls always come in like towards the end of the show too. I noticed that. That's why I was all like, I don't think that's the real Lady Letitia. I was all like, because she's a member, so it would come up in green. That's also too. Well, it comes up on it'll come up like a color. Like what on my side it comes up green, on y'all side it comes up something else, but it'll have like a little symbol next to it. So that's how I know like Lady Letitia is a member. That's why I was all like, wait, hold on, y'all. Something wrong with this. You know, but no, it's her. Okay. All right. But she was agreeing with you. Yeah. You know, they slick. They slick. No. Just like when you drop the link for somebody and then they porn bomb you. Yeah, you gotta be careful with these people. Especially when they see you rising and going to the top. Yeah. You said my stuff. Yeah. Y'all's about to see me get real nasty. Yeah. Wasn't about to play that today. For some reason I had to rejoin. Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah. But this is your actual account, so it was familiar. The other one, Lady Letitia, no, I wasn't familiar with her. So yeah, that's why. All right, y'all. We had a little fun, so that's the way we ended the show. Like number you didn't rec. Yeah, like a phone number I didn't recognize or something like that. I was like, wait a minute. I know something wrong, but no, we all good. All right, you guys, hit that like button. Oh, see, there we go. Okay. Now this is Lady Letitia right here, you guys. This is better. Thank you. Oh, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You didn't have to do that. All right, you guys, we had a great show. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I did 3 uploaded videos today, so if you haven't checked out those, make sure you guys check it out. Also, the backup channel, I did do a video yesterday or last night, so make sure you guys check out the backup channel, at2entertainment.com. AT2 Entertainment, the backup page. I love y'all. Thank y'all for watching, and yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll have a lot more to discuss tomorrow. Love y'all. We out of here. Deuces, everybody.